Genghis Khan and his family and
Oh,
what they
cool.
did. Dude, they killed 10% of the population of Earth while he was alive.
I
They killed so many
What?
people that they affected the carbon footprint of human beings on Earth.
In a remarkable find, researchers have discovered what they believe to be the lost tomb of Genghis Khan. Secreted away for centuries, the tomb contains enigmatic and morbid relics that raise more questions than answers. What lies in this tomb goes against our assumptions of the great Mongol leader Genghis Khan. On this day, we discover the lost tomb of the great Khan. The intrigue of Genghis Khan's tomb has been the subject of novels, legends, and scholarly study. Although information was scarce, accounts of the tomb have abounded. Genghis Khan, the Mongol warrior who established one of the greatest empires in history, was renowned for his war tactics. The only people whom the Mongols did not exhume were the samurais. The Mongols came and tried to invade Japan several times, more than 2 times, and each time they were defeated by these warriors who actually knew how to fight, were sword-trained and bow archers. Genghis Khan was reputed to have commanded confidentiality over where he was buried. Legend went as far as reporting that those involved in burying him were murdered to seal the location for all eternity. Story even reported rivers being redirected to flow over the tomb and wheeled horses set loose to overrun any traces of its existence. The location of the tomb has been history's most mysterious of secrets, which has tantalized imaginations down the ages. Historians and archaeologists were torn between respecting local tradition and satisfying global curiosity. In Mongolia, Genghis Khan is not only a historical figure, but also a national hero and spiritual icon. Mongolia has long regarded disturbing the resting place of the Khan a potential source of calamities and therefore forbidden territory both culturally and literally. The Mongols had a lot of things going for them. They had strategy. First of all, they had devious, wild strategies. They would set people up, sending a small party out, luring enemies into chasing them down into a canyon filled with Mongols, and then slaughtering everyone while blocking the exit. This tension has created a delicate balance between scientific inquiry and cultural sensitivity, shrouding the tomb's location in secrecy and taboo. Numerous attempts to locate the tomb, using scientific expertise and local myth, had yielded nothing but disappointment, adding to the already complicated web of rumor. Nevertheless, despite all this, the allure of discovering the tomb remained strong. It was more than the mere appeal of treasure or the prize of irreplaceable historical artifacts. It was driven by the insatiable human desire to solve a puzzle that had baffled generations. Archaeologists scrutinized ancient manuscripts, satellite images, and patterns of local wildlife migrations as they looked for clues. Myth described a mountain in northeastern Mongolia as being revered by Genghis Khan and, due to this, it was widely presumed that the legendary mountain guarded the centuries-old secret. And then, by fate's hand, came an amazing discovery that many deemed daring, if not sacrilegious. In a time when technology had been capable of gazing out to the farthest reaches of the universe, it was almost a certainty that eventually we would turn our attention to the unseen depths of our own past. That time has arrived, and the announcement is nothing short of an earthquake. They essentially changed how many people were burning material in core samples. The carbon impact of humans was less when Genghis Khan lived because he killed 1 out of 10 human beings. We can no longer rely on tales around the campfire and speculative videos about what was inside Genghis Khan's tomb. We have hard, indisputable facts, a reality which punctures the exaggerated myths that have fascinated us for centuries. The significance of this find cannot be overstated. For academics, it opens up new areas of research into Mongolian archaeology, history, and anthropology. For Mongolia, it is a cultural landmark and a complex issue regarding heightened global interest. For the rest of the world, it is a chilling new chapter on an old story that has fascinated us for centuries. There is this myth that a man went to China to seek out commerce opportunities. Coming towards where he was headed, he noticed on the skyline a snow-covered mountain. Closer inspection caused him to realize it was a burial mound. Records of Genghis Khan and his raping men's ruthless devastation in Jin, China. Only when the world had nearly given up on discovering the legendary tomb of Genghis Khan, a team of archaeologists stumbled upon an unexpected find. Equipped with advanced scientific tools, The team was in Mongolia originally to investigate historical climatic trends by examining sediments of the soil. They could never have suspected that their endeavors would attract worldwide interest and controversy. It was situated in a remote area near Birkin Khaldun Mountain, a region for a long time thought to be the graveyard of Genghis, but never scientifically confirmed as such. When the excavation team began digging, they had soil strata anomalies that caught their attention. They continued to dig and discovered not only the usual plant material and sediments but also a man-made feature that suggested a graveyard. Knowing its possible impact, they appealed to the authorities and launched an intensive excavation project. Advanced technology took the key role in this pioneering find. Ground-penetrating radar swept across the subterranean terrain. Metal detectors identified artifacts with the help of high-technology tools. High-definition aerial photographs taken by drones provided a bird's-eye view, enabling the free movement on the perilous landscape. All these pieces came together to expose a graveyard of such elegance as befits a leader of giant size. Intricate carvings, symbols of power, and remnants of ceremonial sacrifices filled the grounds. The clincher came when inscriptions resembling the script of ancient Mongol were cracked, leaning nearly certainly towards this being Genghis Khan's tomb. When news of the find emerged, the world held its breath for the unveiling of the tomb's contents. But this find was not without issues. With its monumental significance to Mongolia's heritage, the Mongolian government had to be consulted at every turn. As news media flocked the site, there were questions about ethics surrounding the propriety of unearthing a site so deeply rooted in Mongolian identity and culture. Weeks turned into months as scientists toiled continuously in their biohazard suits. Onlookers and local officials stood at arm's length. Sporadic reports gave peeks into their activity, setting off debate and conversation ranging from scholarly concerns to metaphysical reflection. Beyond the incredible artifacts and historical finds emerging from the site, there was an otherworldly sense that the excavation was playing out unsuspected implications. Linguists examined inscriptions, historians sifted through ancient texts, and anthropologists deliberated the cultural implications as the project took on an interdisciplinary flair. Everyone recognized they were working on something monumental, an endeavor reauthoring the pages in the annals of human history. When archaeologists and scholars were ready to break open what was probably the tomb of Genghis, a sense of awe and dread hung in the air. The customary pomp associated with great historical discoveries was curiously absent, replaced by terror. The objects of this tomb were not only historical discoveries, they were enigmatic and creepy, ready to transform our understanding of Genghis and the era over which he ruled. While the seals were opened carefully, the initial items unearthed came as no surprise. Gem-encrusted swords, ink scrolls that had endured through time, and intricately crafted armor that attested to the craftsmanship of the era. But further investigation by the team led them to discover items that cried out for explanation. Items constructed of materials that seemed far more advanced than anything in the 13th century. These consisted of inexplicable metallurgical alloys, unknown devices whose purpose was obscure, and plain mechanical devices. The most unnerving of all were writings and scribbles on several of them, characters that bore no resemblance to any known language, written with an otherworldly fineness that seemed to suggest machine work rather than the pressure of human fingers. Experts of all disciplines could not trace their origin or function. In 2003, a study found that Genghis's DNA exists in about 16 million living men today. But then, the mystery deepened, for DNA analysis of the tombs remains yielded inexplicable results. Genetic markers unlike any human family line ever known. Was Genghis Khan a member of an extinct religious tradition? Or was something even more supernatural at work? The chilling question hung suspended. What if Genghis Khan was part of a tale far more complex and sinister than we had ever been able to conceive? Let us know your opinions in the comments section below. If you like more content from Discovery, please click on that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.